You're watching Star News, the news leader in Southside Virginia.
Martinsville, Virginia. With us we've got Sheriff Lane Perry, and of course the story we've been following this week about the police officers that were kind of together talking for about three and a half hours. Sheriff, I'm just going to let you, I'm sure you want to kind of explain it in your own words. I don't want to ask you a lot of questions right now. I just want to give you an opportunity to say what happened.
Yes, thank you. I found out about this, guess what, Tuesday evening or so, but I found out it from someone who had called, who had seen the show, and with that, I think you would probably say I quickly called, left a message for you, and you called me back about it. We've been able to find out who the two officers were. It is a personnel matter, so we can't go too far into it, but it was not an excuse for what was observed. I'm very sorry. I hope this is something that is more of a rare incident, but we are looking into it. We take it very seriously, and it will be dealt with appropriately. But that pretty much is most of what I can say about it.
How does it make you feel? You know, we've been through a lot here in Henry County before you became sheriff. And in fact, part of what we went through kind of made you sheriff in a way because of the turmoil and that sort of thing. And then we see something like this. And I guess my question really is, and what do we do to reassure the public that this is not a common thing, number one, which I don't believe it is. I think this was rare.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. I do believe this is a rare incident, and I'm not, there's no excuse for it. We've now looked into it. There wasn't a legitimate excuse for it. It is to the point, we take the service to the citizens very seriously. I think most people would probably tell you that we do strive to work very hard for them. And this is not exemplary of what we want. So I want to assure the people, and that's like calling in tonight, and I hope you would say you and I have been in communications from the very beginnings of this, and I hope you would say that very quickly it was just my utmost intent. This is not something that instills confidence in the public, and we want the citizens to feel like our officers are out working, that when they're on duty, they're out doing what they're supposed to. Now, through some of the communications that you and I've had, now, it's not uncommon to see two police cars pulled up together. But, as you and I've talked about before, that should be just a very short period. Now, we'll say once in a while, it's just like most employees, you get a few minutes break every once in a while. Sometimes it's a couple officers talking. A lot of times what's taking place is two officers are talking about a case they're working. Like we might meet one of the city police officers to pass off a warrant or pass something along. A lot of cases are solved more by communications between the officers piecing the puzzle together. And that is, it is a regular occurrence to see two police officers beside each other.
And nothing wrong with that. We go along. The problem here is it was 3.5 hours, and I talked to you today, and you divulged this, which I really admire you for doing this. But these officers were on duty at this time.
Yes, they were, and I have nothing to say. But there's two officers at 3.5 hours. The citizens were not served for 7 man-hours.
And of course, that gets into the next question, and you can't talk about because it may give to the identity of the officers are. Is what were they talking about for 3.5 hours? You can't get into that. We've talked about that. I understand that. But that's what the people really want to know. What were they really talking about? And in saying that, I know you can't divulge that, but in your mind, what they were talking about, do you think it was somewhat reasonable?
No, I don't. Even in what we were speaking about earlier about meeting and talking about a case, and
Yeah.
I'm working a case with the same suspect and stuff like that. These times of officer speaking shouldn't last long at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not at liberty to speak about what happened, what the conversation was about. And like calling in here tonight, I want to be open. This is not one of the moments that we
Cherish.
are liking,
Yeah.
but this is in making the place a better place. We found out about it. We immediately began working on it, and began investigating it, and we're taking appropriate actions.
I got just a couple more questions. I really appreciate you talking with us. Was it, or can you answer this? Was it male, female, or was it male, male, or female, female?
I'm not at liberty to that one.
All right. Was it? We noticed one of the cars were newer cars, and we know that they just don't give those cars out to rookies. Was it somebody within the rank, a sergeant or above, that was involved in this?
Now I'm trying to think if I can answer that, but we generally don't give a brand new car to a brand new officer. I guess I'll say that because some of their learning skills about driving and things, it's generally a little bit riskier venture to put a brand new car out there. We generally give them something a little bit older that if a mishap happens, it hasn't been a big investment lost. And I wanted to say too, if anyone, it is the people's office. I will acknowledge that. I am a servant as much as anyone else. And, of course, we found out through this by this means, but if someone has a complaint, we regularly investigate complaints on the officers. I'm pleased to say probably most of the time they're unfounded, but occasionally there is a founded complaint, and this is the only way we can make the place better.
How difficult is it in the job that you do when you come up with something like this? I mean, how disappointed are you? And the other question attached to that is, do you think there's a deficiency or a defect in these officers to have been doing this to begin with?
Well, I'm generally one, human nature can sometimes be human nature. And, we've had the office for 6 years now, actually going on a little over 6. And there were some things in the early history, straightening out, correcting problems. We've tried to be fair with the employees and always above board for the citizens. The last couple of years, especially, have been marked by a very good history. I think this, hopefully, is a very rare occurrence. I think it's something that is not the norm, and I think I can say that very safely. And we want the citizens to have confidence in the office, and that is like this as well. We want them to hear how it's being handled, it's being addressed, it's not being swept under the rug, and we move forward.
I certainly appreciate your honesty, I appreciate your communication, and I appreciate you talking with us tonight.
Well, thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
I want to say in a note,
Yep.
if someone receives services that they did not think were professional and ethical, we want to know about it. I mean, it can kind of be like anything. Sometimes something can be going on and a person's not aware of it, but we are to the point that complaints are received in, and we'll take any form of communications because we want that office to represent the people well. As you said earlier, our area has suffered greatly, and this is one area I want personally to shine.
Well, and in saying that, Sheriff, and you'll understand this better than most, and myself being in law enforcement, people really don't understand or realize the stress that a police officer goes through on a regular, daily basis. And it's worse than I was when I was in it. I wouldn't, I tell this all the time, and I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but it's the truth. I wouldn't recommend any young person getting in law enforcement. That's a bad thing, and I've talked to other people, and they say the same thing. it's a good profession, and it's noble, but it's so daggone dangerous out there.
Well, what you said is true. Now, I'll probably differ a little in opinion. Police work has, I've enjoyed my career and hope to continue it on for a while longer. And I do enjoy it. It takes a person that has a special character, I think, to do it.
Yeah.
But you are right. We've noticed for the last probably 6 or 7 years, we're dealing with people more and more that their mental stability is not what it used to be. Their coping skills and things along that.
Right.
And the officers, it is probably a more draining and fatiguing job because you really, really want to solve the break-ins and the crimes of violence. I say regularly in neighborhood watch groups, we want you to feel safe in your home. We want you to be to the point when you lay your head down at night. There is not a legitimate worry in your head about someone breaking in your home. We always put crimes of violence first, people's safety. And the officers signed up for things like that to protect people. And what we find out a lot of times is they're becoming more of counselors. And